I know, me too.
I don't like my jacket on the back of the chair either.
I don't care about that.
And the shear pin broke on my bloodshot right at the right time.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the April 2nd, 2025 Sutton Conservation Meeting. We can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tonight, in person, we have Mike McGovern, Robin Jakes, Jamie Marin, Tim Thompson, Jared Duvall, myself, Bill Wentz. In-person staff, Wanda Bean and Brandon Faniff, is he signing online tonight?
He said he'd be on Zoom. I don't see him currently.
Okay, and Samantha Cruz in person. Pursuant to Governor Healy's March 28, 2025 order extending the temporary provisions pertaining to the open meeting law until June 30th, 2027. This meeting of the Sutton Conservation Commission is in a hybrid format and is being recorded. The recording will be available on the town's website and YouTube channel. So the first thing up is a new one for 68 Lackey Dam Road. Get some feedback, huh? In accordance with the provisions of MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, Wetlands Protection Act, and the Sutton Bylaw 12, Wetlands Protection, the Conservation Commission will hold a hearing to review a notice of intent NOI submitted by Stephen Benoit of Uxbridge, Mass. The hearing will be held on Wednesday, April 2nd, 2025 at 6 p.m. The project consists of a construction of a single-family house, septic system, well, driveway, and associated grading at 68 Lackey Dam Road. Welcome. Your name and address to the record, please.
My name is Karen Keegan, from Allen Engineering. I'm here tonight to represent Stephen Benoit. So this is a project on Lackey Dam Road. It's across the street from Meadow Pond, I guess. There is an area of wetlands in the front right here. That's our wetland area, and the lot is about 1.8 acres, 1.86 acres. And it slopes kind of steep after it leaves the wetland area up a hill. Again, across the street is the Meadow Pond. There was a 24-inch culvert that goes from this wetlands. It crosses underneath the road, and I believe that it flows into Meadow Pond at that point. There is a 12-foot driveway to the right corner of the lot. It's the only access onto this lot. Is about this big right here. And there's a water line that's running on the inside of that driveway all the way up to the house. Again, it's a 3-bedroom house at the top of the hill, a septic system, roof infiltration. The closest point for the house is 135 feet to the wetlands. It is 101 feet from the septic system. And from the limit of disturbance in this area, it is 52 feet. On this side right here, because the wetlands is the curved area right in here, I have 14.8 feet to the paved driveway and 9.2 feet to the mulch wattles with siltation fence, which is running all the way around the top of the area here. Anybody have any questions?
Good overview. Sam, have you seen this and been out there? Or Brandon
Yes,
been out
thank
there?
you, Mr. Chair. So I did do a visit to the site. Let me get the pictures up right now. So we have a bordering vegetated wetland down at the very bottom of the slope. Pictures. I know it's hard for you guys to see, but so this is looking at the site from the road. So as you can see, it's pretty steeply sloped, as Karen stated, from the wetlands going up to where the single family house will be. It's pretty steep. I went out to the site, reviewed the wetland line. I made 2 changes to the line, just slight changes, about 10-15 feet up the hill. I sent those to Karen. The only other observation I had on the site was that in the field, there's a stone wall. Then typically they demarcate the property line a lot of the time. But on the site plans, the wetland flags don't continue to the property line. So I made that comment to her. It'd just be nice to see where the wetland line goes from there until it reaches the property line. If that is in fact accurate, I don't know if the person that was out in the field maybe just thought that that was the property line. But that was really the only comment I had on it. It's very steep, so definitely suggests some good erosion controls in this area. So I don't think there's a DEP file number yet for it. We just looked, so. But other than that, that's all I have.
I have not changed the plan to show her, two flags over in here. And or the area that she wants me to extend them in this area here. So when I come back, obviously, I'll have to show those.
So I'm gonna turn it over to the board. Jamie?
Two questions.
Sure.
When I was looking at the plan, I didn't see that there was, if there was a culvert under the driveway, is the wetland isolated or
No,
was it?
yeah, the wetland stops right here. So it comes around and loops around, goes that way.
But in terms of drainage and
Yeah.
runoff from the street, and that's not gonna be an issue with the driveway?
No,
Okay. I guess that was my only question.
Only one?
Through the chair. Here in that corner where the black hay bale line is, what's proposed for? Is it a wattle and a silt fence?
a wattle and a silt fence.
Not all of it, in just a small section, because it'll,
Section right
there
there.
should be, right, not so much there, right, to see the corner where the
Right here.
grading, no, way back up.
Up
See
here,
that? Yep, just, should they put some hay bales there instead of the wattle? Just some of it? At least the point that concentrates down, or is that all dispersed? So when a heavy rain and the roof's all shingled,
pretty much.
where's it gonna point low?
Yeah.
Right, so do you think maybe 6 hay bales?
Each
Whoa,
year, one-
So if it fails, where's it gonna fail is my question. Yep.
Right
Only
here.
if you guys think that's the spot. I just know a corner of that has a good chance of seeing,
Okay.
and the wetlands 75 feet away from there, is that what that dark green line is?
About 50.
So
Okay.
that's
I can
my
put
only
some
comment.
details in there.
not not just, there'll be a concentrated area just in that small spot.
Okay.
Tim, Robin, Jared? No comments.
Nothing.
Anybody from the public tonight? Anyone on Zoom?
Right?
So we can't close this because there's no DEP number. Everyone, given everything, obviously be in a public meeting in a couple weeks when we reopen it, but ideally with a DEP number, this should be good to move forward.
Oh, I mean, they've
Yeah.
done everything they can.
Looks good,
push it.
yeah.
I mean,
Are they real behind on
think it's
DEP
real.
again?
No, I usually get them right away. I'm surprised I didn't have one.
Probably show up at 7 o'clock tonight.
Yeah. Probably.
beat every 2 weeks.
All right, nothing else, a motion to continue?
Make a motion to continue 68 Lackey Dam Road to, what's the date?
Or 16.
April 16th at 6:10 PM.
So April 16th, 6:10 PM.
I'll second it.
Rob made a motion to continue to 4:16 and 6:10. Mike seconded. Robin, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mike, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Tim, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jamie, how do you vote?
Aye.
And I, Bill, vote aye. Thank you very much. Good luck. Have a good night. Okay, 6:05, it's 6:08, just a discussion for 94 McCullen Road. Tim's gonna recuse for this one. And I believe the homeowners are
Zoom.
on Zoom.
Yes, can you hear us?
Again,
Yeah, we can.
Thanks.
Hello.
thanks for coming on. Just kind of give it an update on this one. This is just an informational thing. A fence was put up very close to the wetlands. Did everyone see the pictures on that?
Yes.
Maybe want to sit around. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, this is more informative, just to kind of, let you know that you are approaching the wetlands. With the white fence. I mean, it's obviously in a lawn area.
Yes.
Speaking for myself, I think if you came in front of us, that would have been, I would have approved it, but I'm just gonna turn it over to the board if the board has any questions or comments. This, basically, the red line is a wetland area, so it's just like to know not to encroach into that.
That was the no disturb.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
What's the question? Is the fence okay?
Well, technically, they're within so many feet of the wetland that they
Right.
should have filed
Right.
at a minimum of an RDA. I think it's more of informative, just because it was brought to our attention, just so they know not to put the fence, no, keep
Keep
going,
going with the
yeah,
fence,
keep going,
okay.
yeah, and I mean,
It was all pre-existing,
the lawn, yeah,
Disturbed.
yeah,
so at one point when the development happened, it looks like that was the limit of
Yeah.
disturbance.
Yeah. And you can tell other people have gone probably beyond the wetland, you know, in the other direction, but
Yes, there's actually, you could see our neighbor's fence that's further back that goes into the wetland. It's a darker fence.
Yep. Couple panels anyway.
I mean, it's such a minor activity. I guess what makes it that
Just because
They
they were within so many feet of a wetland that
even that
technically,
simple of a I mean,
Yeah, this is fine.
oh, I think it's fine, but I just, for it to have been questioning them have to come on, I mean,
fence looks good. I think it's in a grass area, and I think the homeowners know if they're gonna do anything. You know, if you're gonna put a patio in or do anything like that, decide to add onto the house, you definitely have to file with us.
patio would be.
Yes.
something
Yes,
I'd say That's
absolutely.
digging in the ground, but I know
Yeah.
they maybe dug a few little holes, but is
Yeah.
that, so action not needed, right?
Absolutely.
I think it was
That's
just
how
more
I
agree.
informative.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any questions for us?
No, we just weren't sure if you needed any more information from us.
I mean, do you plan on doing anything else in that area?
No,
than-
we got a new puppy in December and she just needs somewhere to run around and go to the bathroom. So that was
Yeah.
the reason.
That works. Perfect. All right. Anybody from the public or anybody else from the board?
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for coming on. Have a great night.
Thank you all so
Thank you.
much.
Thanks. Take care.
You too.
Okay, that was 6:05. Did everyone review the minutes of 3/19/25?
Yes. I make a motion to approve the minutes of 3/19/25.
I'll second it.
Rob made a motion to approve the minutes of 3/19. Mike seconded. Robin, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mike, how do you vote?
But I,
Jamie, how do you vote?
Aye.
Tim, how do you vote? Aye. And I, Bill, vote aye. We have a request for a certificate of compliance for 90 Abbotsby Road. Is this the two-car garage one?
Yes.
That's separate? Yep. Do you have everything you need on that, Sam?
Yeah, I have some pictures if you guys would like to see. Just 1 second.
It's driving by, it looks like it's been done for a while. It looks like they did everything they were supposed to do.
geez, I feel like we just proved that.
I know.
I was like, wow, they're already done and it's all stabilized.
Doing what they should do.
No,
Oh, while Sam's pulling that up, I just signed at least 7 things to refund money for people that have finished projects like this and are owed money back. So it is a two-way street with conservation. If you're overpaid or you're owed money, we send it back. So those will go out on a side note. Yeah.
So this is up from the house looking down at it. I'll continue on here.
We're real comfortable now, Tim.
Everything looks to be in compliance with the as-built plan that was submitted by Civil Site. The only observation comment that I had was along the backside here. The driveway, I mean, the garage doesn't have any gutters, so all the runoff from rain is coming down and kind of causing some erosion going on in this area. So there's a little bit of sedimentation. It didn't go far beyond the wattle, maybe a foot. So that's really the only comment I had. The straw wattles are still in place right now. Most of it looks stable besides just that one area, as you can see kind of down here, where the erosion is happening. Other than that, everything looks good and it looks in compliance.
like, are those, do those have the nets on them? Because they don't look like the biodegradable ones.
Yeah, they do look like they have the black
So,
nets.
just my opinion. I don't think we should issue a certificate of compliance until it's stabilized and those are cleaned up, because in the past, they didn't even allow this type of wattle. If it was biodegradable, I would, but I have been an advocate of using these and owe it to make sure they get cleaned up. So I think, and they could do it quickly and the growing season's right around the corner. And I hate to do that, but and I'm sure they'd clean them up, but it's just my opinion. I'd like to wait.
Just tell me.
Until that's stable, and we're supposed to be through a growing season. So as much as I hate to say that, that's just my opinion. We should wait.
Remove the other water, the ones that are
Well,
there.
as we have said, we want to see the silt fence cleaned up. Because we don't want it left behind, because we were seeing projects where the black silt fence was still there. And it doesn't, I mean, I don't think that we're hurting anybody in any way, shape or form, and I just think I owe it to myself to make sure that's cleaned up. That's how I feel.
Jamie.
Did the submitted plan have a detail requiring gutters and recharge?
Not that I
thought-
saw, no.
Okay, because I thought we had talked about that as it related to this.
So Jamie, think of this, so we're responsible for stabilization and say when they come back again, it's still open because of it, we could require crushed stone to stabilize it. We could require a stabilization method.
All right. Yeah, no, I thought we had talked about it because this was the one that was in like right adjacent to the floodplain, right?
It might even
Yes.
be, yeah, yeah.
So I thought we had actually gone through that and discussed it. But, okay,
All right, so we're just, you want to just let him, or someone let him know, remove the wattles?
He is, I think he is on
Oh.
Zoom right now.
Yeah, I am here if you guys can hear me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's my fault. I didn't realize that we were allowed to remove those straw wattles until I thought I had to get the certificate of compliance prior to removing those. Otherwise, I would have had them removed and had everything stabilized last year.
Basically how we work, if you removed them, we would have told you not to, and if you didn't remove, we would tell you to remove. So you really can't win here, but
Okay.
We're the fun committee.
thank you for coming on. I mean, obviously you have no problem pulling those up?
Nope.
It's worth the work.
Yeah, not a problem at all. I put them in place, so
Right,
Yeah,
I was just
thinking
gonna
about-
say.
And the lawn, just let the lawn stabilize a few more weeks or a couple months of growing. We should be in pretty good shape, I would think. right?
But what about the gutters and stuff?
This guy's very meticulous. It's not that I wouldn't trust that he wouldn't do it. It's just, we should see it with our own two
Yeah,
eyes, like I
yeah.
said.
Yeah.
And it should be stabilized.
Yeah.
To the criteria that we're.
So,
I
so
agree.
there was never a plan for gutters or any kind of stable, any kind of water runoff on the original plan. But I'm certainly happy to address, however you see best.
unless there's an erosion condition, I'm not.
Usually crushed stone works
Yeah,
great. If it's
yeah.
behind the garage, I mean, if they just did crushed stone on that drip line.
Yeah.
It would help disperse the water. It would help that to stabilize quicker.
On the back of the garage,
I think it's simple. I mean, that,
Mike was saying if you took like a foot from the concrete back and
Yep.
instead of grass, just put some crushed stone,
Okay.
that would be enough.
Okay.
even on the grass, if they
Yeah.
just filled that in a
Yeah.
couple inches thick, I bet it would.
Nothing
work itself.
fancy, yeah.
Yeah. And just a little more grass seed and a little bit of time, and I bet that'll look great.
Okay. What's the next step for once this is done to let you guys know? Just send an email to Wanda.
Just call the office or email
Okay.
Wanda and send it or text a picture in or email a picture in and you'll be, we'll put it on the agenda and get it off for you.
Okay. Sounds great.
It looks good. Nice job on that.
Thank you guys.
Thanks for coming on. All right. Geez, we're moving. Any project site visit updates from any other boards?
No.
I do have an update if you.
Oh, sure.
So I dropped by 126 Burbank Road today. Cause Jamie had mentioned about the silt fence being a little funky. So let me get some pictures up. Okay, so here's looking in from the road, from Burbank Road. Beyond this pile, Jamie, you can correct me if there's a specific spot
I
that you were
haven't
looking
been, I
at.
haven't been on the site.
Okay.
I,
So I walked the site just to look at the erosion controls. They have their DEP number up. This is just heading back. Silt fence is a little bit crushed in this area, not looking too great here. There's different areas throughout the site. What happened was they put the erosion control up first, and then they cut the trees down. So in a couple places, they cut the trees and the trees fell on the erosion controls. So once they remove the trees from those areas, so this is an example of just an area that this happened in. Once they remove the trees from those areas, this should be addressed. I went up the hill, so this is where a couple of the houses are gonna be. So it goes up this hill and it continues on that way. As of right now, the wattles stop right here before they do not continue. So again, they have not cleared the trees in this area. I don't know exactly where their limit of work is in this exact area. So I don't know. They've cleared the trees up at the top. They should have erosion controls in. But I would say for them to not put the erosion controls in this area until they take the trees down, or the same thing is gonna happen as the rest of the site has. Other than that, it looks like they've just done tree clearing. This is looking back. So that's just my update for this site.
What about the house that's under construction? Did you check that?
I didn't see a house under construction on these lots in particular, so I don't know where. Maybe near the road more, there used to be a house. When you come out of here to the left, there was a house there, but I didn't see, there had people over there, but there's a current house there.
Yeah, I'll show my.
I just happen to be building a house and I drive by here every day. And I think the house that started is quite a bit forward towards
Okay.
Central Turnpike. And it's way back in the woods. I
Not
can kind
Central
of,
Turnpike.
no, right on this street.
Burbank.
So if you go back to those street photos. And you had showed the looking in on a driveway being cut. So that's the far,
This house, this lot,
this lot right here. So she's looking right here right now, I assume.
yes.
And I
This is the one.
was surprised.
Didn't see,
So there's a wetland crossing here?
yes,
Oh, yeah.
no, yes.
That's probably.
And this house here, from here, I looked and I couldn't see any erosion controls. As it related to the house that's under construction. But I haven't been on the site. This is my property right there.
So, from what I can see from the street. I would say, I was surprised to see him doing work through the wetland. I thought it was, I didn't have the plans in front of me. There looks like a lot going on. I didn't go on the property.
It's a mess.
Okay,
Um,
so I will have
trying
to
to
go
be
back
kind.
there.
No,
Because I'm a builder and I
the site's kind of out of control.
Yeah.
You want to put a second set of eyes?
Yeah, I
boots on
just,
the ground here?
that's my fault. I mixed them up. I thought it was this one in particular, but I didn't know it was the other one. So I can go back there and check it out.
Well, I think we'd all probably agree.
so do we believe the erosion controls are in the, like, so to me, can we look at what this is supposed to look like? Like, what's the approved plan of through this wetland crossing that's happening in the wettest time of the year? Like, was there conditions to,
They were supposed to,
you know what I mean? I can't memorize every project.
I technically need to recuse myself from this conversation because I'm in a butter. But they were supposed to put the road in and have the road stabilized before they started construction of the house. That's what the development was.
And that's what you remember too, Jerry, right? Like there was supposed to be like sequence.
I'm just curious on the sequencing, yeah, I would have thought that we probably would have finished well cropping first and.
Does the wetland stop here, Sam? Do we have this that you can look at it?
Yeah, I'll get that.
'Cause I thought they were just squeezing by without crossing the wetlands, but
No,
They did have to
No,
do a
no, I-
wetland crossing.
refreshing my memory.
they moved it. They had originally.
Oh, this is all back here, right? And then what's this?
That's a replication area.
So like I just did a project with something similar and I had to do all of this before I could go there. Right on Central Turnpike, you can see it from the street, probably all seen it. It's got a huge pipe crossing.
Seen it.
Well, but I'm just saying, I mean, so I just went through this, like,
Was there a excuse me, through the chair, was there a pre-construction meeting on this and
Yes, there was.
you inspected the erosion controls?
I was not the one who did the meeting, but yes, the
They
erosion
were-
controls were inspected and they looked good when he went. Now,
And they
Who
were
was
in,
it that inspected the?
Rick inspected it.
I thought Rick wasn't working for us anymore.
I don't think it was ever voted on, so I don't know.
project of this magnitude.
I don't think Rick's name was on the invoice. I've checked the invoices.
So I'm one person, I've only been from the street, but, so why don't we do a site visit?
Yeah,
And then.
Not
there's a- you can
Saturday.
See, well, this is
well,
a whole sequence.
that is going to be VT.
Say too much, but I see what you see.
I think we'd do a site visit and, I don't know if you or Brandon or anyone's back in town. I mean,
Yeah,
want to keep an eye on this
Yeah.
before. we get more rain and stuff.
And let's
Well, that's
understand,
all it's gonna be doing.
Yeah, I know.
That's all it's gonna be doing starting tomorrow.
so I'm looking at,
it's wet, it's,
A lot of standing water.
I was very surprised. I didn't see have the plans, I don't have privy to this, the way we work as a board and what we can access for information. I can't see any of it.
Sure.
So I mean, and I don't feel comfortable just going on people's property without notification.
Right. Sunday.
Do we want to do a site visit or do we want to have the consultant go out and give an overview? I mean, it doesn't matter to me one way or another. But I think the biggest thing is to make sure it's being followed to the plan and in the order it's supposed to be.
Well, I have a question. A lot of this is engineering, not just like a wetland line. So who would be the qualified person to do a site visit on engineering and wetland surveying location? Like, how do we assure that this is all?
So who is their engineer?
I'm just saying, from a site visit, how are we gonna, as a wetlands,
Who's the engineer?
who understands all these plans to the letter of the law?
Raouf's
Alpha
He'll
Omega.
he'll go. He'll go.
I think that, yes, that, so that there, now we're on, right? I'm just.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
And we have asked him in the past on his projects. The
Sam,
last one was Old Mill
do
Road,
you want to reach out to
Well,
Raouf on this?
Yeah.
Or you and your team?
and it started with construction starting and it wasn't sequenced right. And things got put in the wrong place and driveways got built and
Well, I'd like to go out there too, but I don't know if anybody else.
I
why do you keep knocking over your fire?
I would never say no because that's, I think,
Yeah, I think
should
it's important.
understand projects that have crossings and these are significant impacts on resource areas.
All right, so when do we want to go out? Or-
I just wanted to make one more comment. I don't see on the special conditions anything about a sequencing plan. Now, I don't know if it's on the plan itself.
Yeah, it's all. it's all-
Okay.
it's another one.
Okay, so we didn't make a special condition for it.
In the
Um,
past, we've reached out to Raouf and we've been in this with, which is the engineer, just happens to be the engineer of record. And ask him to do a site visit and ask if his plan's been followed. That's usually how we start this. We
Yeah.
do.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
And maybe we could all go on our own time. I think, do we have the right to go on the property?
Yeah, during business hours, right? And
Yeah.
gotta identify
They
yourself.
have an open order of
Yeah.
conditions, yes, you do.
Do you want to do it? That
Yeah.
we'll ask
Yeah, that
Raouf
might
to
be-
comment
yeah.
on what he thinks is it being the plan followed.
Yep.
And we'll all go take a walk and educate ourselves on what's going on out there. And then in 2 weeks, I mean, with all the rain, I can't imagine much is gonna happen. I don't. Looks like they stopped working on it from what I saw.
They've just cut trees down and they're starting to go through the wetland right now. They haven't, it looks like there's riprap up to the edge of it.
But if we're overseeing it, did we say this is a good, like, who's helping them guide through this replication and doing the crossing? Isn't that supposed to be all overseen? So when I did it, I reached out to Brandon, you guys came out, you were with him. We
Mhm.
did site visits through
Yeah.
periodically throughout the construction of it.
There should be a bottom inspection when the
I'm
replication.
just saying,
area-
there's, and that replication is supposed to happen as the, all is one big swoosh.
When did all this work start? It's been all winter?
I don't
I've
know.
been working on it for months.
Okay.
And it's not hard to do. I just did it. I'll
Yeah,
say,
no,
I mean,
when we had discussed it, my primary concern was actually because of impact to my property is the house that's physically under construction that you didn't see.
Mhm.
And
well, wait. Let me ask, it's better for you. Through the chair, is there,
Yeah.
so was there a pre-construction meeting on lot,
Whatever lot that is, 12, number 112?
so lot 5? Was there a pre-construction meeting on lot 5? And, or did he file, is he outside our jurisdiction on this lot? And the only, I mean, there is a chance that he says he was, and he didn't file.
you know, it looks like the limited disturbance is well within 100 feet of the wetland.
So do we have a plan for this?
So this is 120. Let me just make sure I'm looking at the right thing.
No, this was the one with the crossing down the other end. You know, this is the lot of that picture that we saw. This is not the lot of it where there's a house under construction. It's the crossing. That's the driveway he's putting in right now. When I look in, this is all that puddle.
This isn't the approved plan.
Under the,
That,
Jimmy, you
This is
recused
right
under
here.
this, so I just, to avoid any issues, should
So maybe you shouldn't be having any input in it,
You can have input as a butter, as a,
'Cause, yeah, you,
as like a person sitting on that side.
Yeah, no, I got you, I got you.
So the crossing is here on this side. So this order of conditions under 126 is for the
oh, it's
driveway.
I know, Jamie.
Go on, Tim.
So I think what he's saying is he's outside the 100 foot, and that's why he hasn't
hasn't had to file.
had to file, because this is the 100 foot line right here.
I definitely think.
I'm just saying,
The house that's being built,
The house is more greater.
well, I don't disagree, but you think they put it in the approved septic spot?
And like I said, I saw it from here.
Sam, what were you saying?
I was just saying that so what I was just showing
I'm just saying,
For
I
the
could see how he
pictures
didn't file.
was for the approved driveway, which had a replication area, went through the wetland. That's what I was looking at here. I don't have anything, as far as I know, for an order of conditions for 120 Burbank Road for this house. I have not looked at that.
It's just the driveway.
Yes, this that I looked at is just the driveway. So that was my mistake. I thought that that's what the erosion
So to
controls
get
were
a building
about.
permit, he had to do a
Which is
certified
fair.
plot plan that shows the house that he built, where it is.
well,
to
or
get a building
let's,
permit.
Mike, we
So
could,
that's a way we
we
can
could do
check.
that, but the engineer could probably get out there in the next couple of days. I don't want to speak for schedule, but he's in town and probably could report back to you and Brandon and us before the weekend.
Yeah.
With some kind of update, and if there's something that's major we need to take action on, we can.
We will.
Hopefully it's not. And then in the meantime, we gotta let them know all the erosion controls need to be better condition, stabilized.
So this is better to look at. So that picture she's showing, this
Yeah.
is the street.
Yeah.
That's looking this way.
That's the
And this is
driveway.
where, so they're, this is all in the construction right now, right through the well.
Isn't this like a
And they're all
phased
the way up
out
to here.
That's yeah.
process?
what we're saying.
So
We-
it's
So what you do is
just
get your crossing
phased
done, and then you
into
have-
like
because they're
getting
driving
the
equipment through
driveway
there, like,
in.
there's no-
Yes.
And then
and
the
then the
houses will be
houses.
later.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. For our friends at home. Okay, so Mike, what were you saying?
If we have concerns of the location of the house from one of the butters.
Yeah.
He's stating that he believes the house is more over here.
Yeah.
This is the 100 foot line. So I'm not sure he'd be in our jurisdiction, but we could ask the question.
Ask Raouf, yep.
Limited disturbances well beyond the house, limited disturbances.
Let's ask Raul.
Yeah, I think we should ask Raouf, yeah,
To take a look at this site, lot 5.
yeah.
And then we just want to get his opinion on how things are going here. Because he's,
Or the whole site overall. If there's anything going on here too, I think we should get an update on all of it. But this is a priority and this is a priority. I think we would agree.
and then this is the plan. We as a board should be looking at this and just, if we got questions, I mean, I'll answer it the best I can, Phil. I do understand these. There's a lot going on, so that was the picture. This is the area of work. The crossing, the pipe, the erosion controls. I think Sam was saying somewhere around here it just stopped, but there's work going on. But it's reluctant because of the slope and trees falling, so I don't disagree about, you know, as long as they're not disturbing the ground and they're cutting trees, I would agree. You don't have to have that up until you start ripping stumps, and
Mm.
it just makes more sense and they stay better. I always like to see the clearing, then you know erosion control. I just was surprised to see work going on by this, would you call it peak flow through the wet? I mean, I saw it, almost looks like a pond.
Yeah.
Not a wetland.
Yeah,
The
I
ground
mean, I didn't go in the property, but,
I'm gonna take a ride by tomorrow myself. I think,
and I believe they're driving through it. So so the whole idea of doing the crossing is to not bring equipment full of
Yeah.
grease and oil and hydraulic
through
and,
it.
not just, you know,
We in agreement that we want to get a report from Raouf or you'll be in contact.
the things we might want to consider is if we didn't condition it in a way that this work shouldn't be going on right now, we could always say stop until a dry
Right.
period, let the wetland, like July or August. We have the right to stop work, you know, like, because there's more damage doing to, you know, there must be water flow. From what I see, it's gotta be continuing either into his property. I'm not looking at all the grading it, looks like it leaves there. Right? Is that what you would say? The flow goes down the road?
Yeah, it goes on to my property in the area that when we did the sidewalk, I expressed my concerns about
Yep.
being impacted. They're all being impacted.
Okay. I think if we get a report back from Rauf, and then if we need to, none of us say to us, we could do a stop work. If it's necessary.
Well, is the engineer on board with this? Is the time that this should be like, he should be weighing in on the project. He's an engineer and they oversee.
I
this type
agree,
of
and
stuff.
from our experience with Rauf, I think we'd all agree when we ask him something, he answers and gets us feedback as quick as he possibly can.
Yeah,
We
100%.
usually have very good luck with him. I think we do that, and Sam, I'm sure between you and Brandon could be in contact the next couple of days. I'm available if there's an issue, we'll do what we need to do.
Mhm.
Hopefully they're following everything to the letter of the law, but I think we need the engineer to say yay or nay first. Everybody okay with that?
Yep.
Yeah, I just, like I said,
Plenty.
we can't look in and make accusations. We should just.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah, you wanna keep this one? So this is the same property? So I wanna mention this, Wanda, while we're on this topic, Wanda said 116. They've reached out on this as well, and Wanda, what do they want, a letter saying that they're not in our jurisdiction?
They're looking for a letter for 116 stating that it is not involved in all of this, that they want to sell the property.
Knows the plan I just had
And-
showed all the problems. We should always be looking at plans so we can understand. So I got a text from one of the owners.
Yeah, and I sent out the
Do you have the
email
plan? And I referred him to Brandon and Wanda.
right here. This one here is saying that it's not
This is the
involved
one-
in the wetlands. Now, she asked for a certificate, but we can't do a certificate because all 5 lots are included in this filing.
This must be 16.
That's right there.
That's 2016.
This
that's
is the
fixed
one
wheel.
where there is no.
Yeah, so it's a standard lot. There's 3 retreats and the 2 standard lots. But there's a house, a barn, and a garage in between the 2 on the roadway to the other retreat lot up in the back. If that has not been removed, I can't type any letter without you all telling me what
Let
to
me
do.
explain. So they sold this lot
They're
and it's
trying to-
encompassed by when they did the, what is it, the RDA? They did the,
They did the
on the whole,
A&R.
the A&R on the whole parcel. I think language got tied up into the deed somehow or something, and it just, the lawyer was looking for a letter saying that it wasn't encompassed with wetlands, or
Right.
there was no easements on the deed, or, which there isn't. I don't believe that there's anything recorded against it, right?
I don't know. I don't think so.
So I didn't understand the
couldn't
question, and I
find it
referred
on-
it to her.
on
I don't
the,
think we write letters saying
No, we
that,
don't.
No.
No.
you know,
Existing, I mean, is there?
I
Mr.
just, there's no
Chairman,
wetlands on it.
Brandon
I didn't-
Faniff here if you have any questions.
Hi, Brandon, thanks for coming on.
Yep.
I've
been listening.
Yeah, 116.
Yeah, Brandon took the call, so he would be best to, I just
There's
didn't
a
think we write
Hey,
letters for this.
Can you explain to us 116, Brandon, and
Yeah, been trying to wrap my head around it as well and what the request is. Now, we have A&R lots here. We have 5 A&R lots. They're all separate. There was an order of conditions issued for the most northerly lot, which we're looking at right now. Okay, and then somebody wants to sell one of the other lots. I want to say lot 4. Is that right?
lot 4, yes, want to say yes.
Okay, can we go to the PDF showing lot 4 or showing the whole subdivision? There we go. Okay. Oh, almost. There we go. Yeah, so remember that there was an ANRAD for this site, so there's no guesswork required for figuring out where the wetlands are, right? So that's a good thing. Lot 4, the thing is, I haven't seen any kind of development plan for lot 4. And we know the further back they go on lot 4, the more likely you are to be within the 100-foot buffer zone to the wetlands back there. So there's chance they could be in the buffer zone, but if they're closer to the road, then they're not gonna be in the buffer zone. And it's easy as going out there and pulling tape. So all they have to do is stay 100 feet away from the depicted wetland line, and then they don't need to apply. That said, it's a subdivision of more than 4 lots. So if they develop all 5 lots, they're gonna require a stormwater report. Which thing is the thing that you would be doing for the houses is you'd be putting in like drip lines or dry wells and stone strips next to the driveway, which this town and this Conservation Commission already requires, so I'm not too worried about it.
Okay.
You follow
So
me?
as far as the letter, Brandon, will you be in contact with the applicant to explain that there's nothing we really can put in writing?
I wrote an email to, I think, back to Wanda the other day, saying that I don't think that we should be issuing any kind of letter, letting anybody off the hook for construction on these lots. It's like issuing an informal permit, and that would be bad. The theme is just stay away 100 feet away from the wetlands and you'll be fine.
I did send the email out to the owner.
Okay, good.
So we're in all agreement in
Yeah.
that, right?
We
Okay.
understand it now.
That
I'm
makes-
glad to have Brandon.
Thank you, Brandon. Good overview.
Yep.
All right, so we'll talk to Brandon, since you're on between you and Sam, can you speak with Raul or try to speak with Raul over the next couple of days on the rest of this?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, get us an update, and then if we need to do anything, just a phone call away.
Yep.
Is everyone okay with that whole overview on all of?
Dude,
Yeah.
The thing that's nice that I
Mr.
just got
Chairman,
to
can I
understand
can I
is
read my
why we don't
email?
write letters, because there's wetlands not on
Oh,
the property.
Brandon's
You go and
talking.
write a letter, someone's gonna say they got carte blanche.
Yeah.
In wetlands, one thing I know, could be here tomorrow and gone, they moved, they
Yeah.
changed,
Mhm.
and I'm sure that's why we don't write letters.
Yep. Brandon, will you?
It was a good education. I appreciate what Brandon did.
Yeah, so here's a letter that I wrote. And it reads, Wanda, according to the sketch you sent, there is no current application for number 116, which is what, lot 4, right?
Yeah.
I don't know where the future owner is going to build a house, etc. Therefore, I can't say that they will not need to file with the Sutton Concom. That said, we do have an order of conditions for number 126. The order of conditions for number 126 is most certainly separate from number 116, meaning that number 116 is unencumbered by the order of conditions going on at number 126, because they're all separate lots. I have not seen it on the tax assessor's map yet, but I presume that number 116 and 126 are no longer part of the same parcel. They are new, separate, and independent A&R lots. You can send this email to the person who requested the letter. Hopefully this does it, because although I'm comfortable writing this email, I would rather not write a formal letter on Sutton letterhead.
Thank
The
you.
reason that it's not on the assessors map is because anything that comes in after January 1st doesn't get changed until the next year of the January, like 2026.
Okay.
Good. Everybody okay with this? Any other discussion? Right. And ideally, if we can all take a ride by and keep an eye on things.
Mhm.
You're right. Thank you.
A place to crawl around.
134 Singletary Ave. We had a call on dirt piles being placed on, I believe it's a lawn right now, but in the buffer zone. Is that right, Sam, Braden? Have you guys? I mean,
Yes.
we've all drove by. Okay.
And I just put in a request to share my screen so I could show you. Okay. So Mr. Chairman, I made this map the other day when the concern came in. And based on my aerial photo interpretation and interpretation of GIS data layers, this dashed peak line is my best guess of where the boundary of the wetland is, which is basically right at the edge of their lawn. and there's pulling digital tape, you got about 130 feet between the road and my projected beginning of the swamp, which means they have about 30 feet near the road in which to do work that's completely out of jurisdiction. But if they bring in piles of fill, that's fill, and if they move it around, that's considered grading, which will require pre-construction approval by the Concom.
So one has a draft letter to send out to the applicant, just to ask them to come in. And explaining that what Brandon just said, within 100 feet. Are we all in agreement to send the letter out?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I've driven by and I did wonder. They're clearly, I mean, they have dirt.
Yeah.
Beyond, like, a lot.
Okay.
Do we want them to just file an RDA? I mean.
Well,
Just,
I mean, can there
just-
be, just be a letter that says, like, if you're gonna, thinking about doing something, come, but
Well-
if you're actually doing something, can you file something?
so through the chair?
Yep.
Just because the growing season's coming and they're obviously doing something with regrading the whole yard. I would imagine. I think time is of the essence. Every time it rains, something's gotta be going down into the resource area. So the reason I ask is they should be filing an RDA. And we should give them it's something I think that should be acted on more than just. Hey, can you come to the next meeting and then would you file an RDA and 2 months goes by? I'd like to see the planning in the next month, and that way when the growing season starts, he can get right started to work. Because we can't let him just keep doing work there. So his goal is to do work, so let's help him get the work done. And I think it can be done with an RDA because it appears to be all disturbed lawn. And it's probably just like raising some grade, and I'm assuming what he wants to do, but I think in his best interest, if we ask him to file an RDA, it's gonna speed it up for him to get the project done, which is in the best interest of the resource area, and that's what I'm for.
I
In
think
my thought,
last
if I
year,
see things different,
That's fine with me.
I think last
not
year I
strict
saw
on anybody,
a
it's just-
garden there with tomatoes in it.
Yeah.
As an interim measure, should we have them put erosion controls around the dirt pile?
It seems stable, like, it's been there for a while. So. When I say stable, I didn't see it washing down into what you can see is obviously what Brandon, the edge of lawn is where that big swamp starts. You can see it all from the street. I think if they get an RDA into us immediately and they get to the next meeting and they show an erosion control of where they want to work, and they could just put it up once and then at the next meeting, if they haven't responded, they haven't shown up, then I think we would have to be a little more persuasive and aggressive. My thought, just to get it done quickly and stabilized.
In a case like this, do we send someone out from the board, or
Do we want to call them?
Try to call-
Would Brandon or would you guys mind reaching out just by a phone call and saying, hey, this is, the board talked about it. We can see that you want to do some work and let's help you speed it up. I'm all for educating, and the mission is to get that stabilized, so. If it's making a phone call, I think that's a good way to start. I do.
The only
Do we have
problem
a
is
phone
I
number?
would need the RDA by tomorrow to get on the next meeting. Gets advertised.
yeah, that's.
We could do it under an emergency order if they came to us with a plan at the next meeting as they were filing their, I'm just saying that we have ways to get things stabilized.
Yep.
So that things don't happen, right? We have those resources. Let's make it happen. Is all I'm saying, in my eyes.
And
And
avoid
work
any-
with
yeah,
the
work with
family that did it. I'm right at the edge of the road. I'm sure he just thinks he can do some grading and he'll be like, oh, he'll work with us and they'll put a silt fence up, and
shouldn't be a problem. Okay.
that's what I think. What do you
Through the
guys?
chair, I would say he's gonna have to put up the silt fence either way,
Put it along the
like-
edge of his
like
grass?
On the lot, the edge of that lawn, might as well do it sooner than later.
Yeah, get it up.
Get it up.
Even if he trucks that dirt out.
Yeah.
Technically, right? Okay, any other enforcement issues or anything pending?
I think I heard somebody ask for a number. Was that Brandon?
Oh, Brandon did ask for
We
a
should
phone
talk
number
to-
for somebody.
He said he asked if they had a phone number
Is that
for
something?
this one.
We're not gonna put that out here.
Brandon, I could hear you. But you didn't
Yeah,
sound
yeah,
close.
if you want us to call them, I don't know how to get in touch. So I need a phone number. Otherwise, we're gonna have to do a mailing.
You know, in today's day and age, it's not like the old days where everyone has a phone in their house
Yeah.
with a number you
Yeah.
could find, so that is if we could try, right?
We'll see what we
If
can
we
find.
can't, let's get a letter out right away, right? That would be our, we could try both. Maybe if we could have a letter go out ASAP, that is a good point Brandon brought up. So we'll do both, right? Try to reach out via telephone and
Get a letter in black and white too.
asking him to reach out to the Conservation Commission. And he could call you, or, I mean, I don't mind a phone call if he just wanted some guidance, to get in front of us and get this stabilized.
Anything else? Anybody from the public? Okay, so one last, yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
Did you have a chance to see if the trees, to check the trees?
I did not.
No. On Ramshorn, the trees that were.
Oh, yeah,
No, I didn't make it out there.
it's on the list.
It's.
Okay. Reminder this Saturday, weather doesn't look too good, but this Saturday, you can do it as well. Sunday is this townwide Earth Day cleanup. As mentioned, there'll be dumpsters provided for the 4th year in a row. Thank you to Al's Rubbish. They'll have one right out here at the Common, one at their location on 122, and one at the Manchog Fire Station. So again, anybody in town, please clean up, bring it to one of the dumpsters. You can do it all day. The day is cleanup day Saturday, but the dumpsters will be there through Sunday, probably Sunday afternoon. I've already seen a TV on the side of Central Turnpike on my way here tonight, so that'll be the first thing I pick up. If it's still there, unless someone else wants it before me, and I will get that in the dumpster. So encouraging everybody. And again, thank you to anyone who participates. Other than that, is there anything else?
I make a
Sure.
motion to adjourn.
Have any?
I'll second it.
No, I was here for the 68 Lackey Dam. I obviously missed that. I was here a couple of minutes late.
Just while we're open, it's moving in the right direction. It's been continued for 2 weeks because there was no DP number, so we couldn't close it out. But it went in, going in the right direction. Looks like we should be good in a couple weeks. So
Are you a neighbor with concern? I mean,
I'm a neighbor, just, we're gonna see what's going on.
You want to
Do
come
the-
up here and speak?
can we do it since we've already continued?
I was just gonna say,
No, it's not from the.
No,
Talk about that.
you're welcome to come back. It's still a public forum in 2 weeks, which would be April, let me just give you the time, April 16th, it was continued to 6:10 PM, so 2 weeks from tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. All right,
I
any,
seconded it.
we have a
I
motion.
motioned,
and
he
a continue-
seconded,
Robin, how do you vote?
aye.
Tim, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mike, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Jamie, how do you vote? And I will vote aye. Have a good night, everybody.
Can we add to the agenda for next week a discussion about Rick doing work for the town?